Previous class we discussed about files concept. So files are used to store the data permanently or persistently. So here we can open the file with the help of a file name followed by a mode of the operation, like reading, writing, or for what purpose we are opening the file is. Okay. So there are different modes here in fopen. Fopen is a function which takes two arguments. One is the file name and second one is the mode. Okay, so there are different modes: read, read plus, write plus, append and append plus. So let us see an example on this, that how we can handle a file. Okay, so let us see a sample program, that how a files can be. So here I am creating one file. Okay, the file name is create file .php. So I am using now Visual Studio Code. So I think you do have Visual Studio Code at your end. So Visual Studio Code helpful for us to create any kind of file. So this is the editor now. In this we'll also have, we can also run the PHP file. How does it possible? In the sense we should have a PHP editor. We should have a PHP editor. Wait for a while. Yeah, so now Visual Studio Code can be used to create any kind of file. So we can run PHP file here. I will let you know how to we can able to do that. Okay, so first of all let us understand this code, because it take times when I write parallelly. That's the reason I already composed this file. So this is a template. From here to here, this is a template. Okay, so this is a HTML. This is an HTML, so where we can able to enter file name and file content. So this is just a form which takes two things. One is a file name and file content. There is a submit button here. Okay, now if you observe, we are trying to write a get method. So let us run this file, then we can able to understand. So this is create file.php. Here it is trying to ask two things now. One is the file name and the file content. So this is a simple HTML that what we have seen earlier. It can have a get method or post method. So here I am writing a get method now. So file name, like I can give some file name like second, because already first file is there, or we'll try like this first. Okay, and we'll try to write this is content of file. Okay, so when I click on submit, so actually it tries to create a file, but entered file name is this, the first. Okay, and the file content is this. Okay, so now let us see that whether first the file has been created or not. So where it will be, so it will be under the path where our WAMP server is. Okay, www, under that the samples is there. Inside of this, see this, the file has been created now. So this is the content of file. So I'm trying to just insert this value into the second text box, so that is written into the file now. Let us now rerun this program again. So the same, the first is the file name. Okay, and the content of file is uh, trying to overwrite. Okay, submit. So now if you see this, that entered file name is first and the file already exists. So what we are trying to do is, now before creating a file, we are trying to check whether file exists or not. So here I am stating that file already exists with the same name, because first is a file which I have been already created. So that is the reason that it is not letting me to create the file now. Why? Because we wrote the condition in that particular manner. So let us analyze the code now. Okay, so now first of all we have to get the file name from the form. Okay, to get the file name from the form, we have different super global arrays. So one super global array is $_get. Okay, remember this carefully. Okay, so here we do have dollar underscore get is a super global array. Okay, what the super global array will do, it will hold all the variables. Okay, which variables are means whatever the variables you are passing to the form, this will hold all the variables. Like example, f name in this case. So from where this f name we got it, f name is nothing but here we have been written f name as my file name now, as the name of the file. So this is initialized under my super global array. So why only dollar get, sir? Because the method I used here is a get method. Suppose, sir, if it is a post, if it is post, then what it would be? Here it would be like dollar underscore post it would be. Okay. So now how many super global arrays are there, sir? Okay. Now let me explain you that there are actually two super global arrays responsible for holding the user data. One is dollar underscore get, another one is dollar underscore post. Dollar underscore get will hold the all the variables which are with the help of get method, and post global variable will hold the values which have been passed under a post method. Okay, so similarly we do have another super global array called as a dollar underscore request. Okay, what is this, sir? This is nothing but either you are using a method called as a get method or post method. It is least bother. It will save all the variables inside of this request method. So now let us try to understand this. Okay, now, so what is this post method, sir? Because here I used a post method in the form, then they have to use a super global array called as post. Okay, so what is this eset method? Eset method will try to check whether this array, which array, dollar underscore post array, is an associative array now. It has been set with a name or not, it will check. Okay, if it is there, some value is there inside of this, it will return true. Okay, if it is true, then it will come inside of this particular if condition. Okay, now try to check this. Here the method is post, but I am trying to get it from the get method, so the get method will be empty now. Okay, so what I have to do, I have to use a dollar underscore post here if I am using a post one. Okay, so now I am trying to get, so please understand the syntax. This is associative array where the index is the values which have been passed from your form. Okay, and f content will be the values inside of this dollar underscore post. Okay, so f name and content I got it. Okay, so now I'm trying to print this now. Entered file name is what? Whatever the file name which have been given from the form will be displayed. Sir, give a new line. So how can I do this? Dot single quote or double quote, I can write dollar, sorry, I can write br here for a line break. Okay, because if you see this output now, this has been coming in a single line. Why? Because entered file name is, after this I am giving a break now, so this probably will get a new line for me. Okay, then now I am now checking while file exists. In the previous class I told you that there are certain methods which tells you the file size and whether file exists or not, and it will check. Okay, what does file exist do? Okay, this function tries to check whether the file with a given name exists or not. Okay, if the file with a given name exists, it will return true. When it returns true, I am just printing one value called as file already exists with the same name. Okay, sir, I want a new line. What I should do now? What I should do? Simple, I can give br and slash. Okay, so as this is an angular bracket, it can give an error. So that's the reason what I'll try to do is I try to concatenate this with something like this. Okay, because here it is not closed, that's the reason. So, or because as this is a single thing, it should has to become like this. Okay, so br slash. here I did not closed it actually, that's the reason it was generating an error. Okay, so now the file exists already, it will prompt this. And what do you mean by die is nothing but it try to exit out of the program. Okay, from this instance it will never execute the remaining lines and it will try to exit out of the program. Okay, and it will print by. Okay, that is the reason that you can see that here. Okay, file already exists with the same name and it is stating me a message called as an by when it is exiting out of this. This is like an exit. Okay, so it comes out of this file now. Okay, so now dollar if the file is not exist, okay, means if the file is not there, then I'm trying to append to the file, sorry, I want to write to the file in the w plus mode. I'm opening the file. Okay, and this is a resource actually, this $f is a resource. This is we generally call it as a handler or file handler or file pointer. Okay, any terminology can be used. Okay, so I generally call this as a handler. So $f is a handler. So I'm trying to check whether $f is null or not. Okay, if it is null, then what we are trying to do is uh, we are just, it is stating that we can't open the file. Why we can't open the file? In the sense there can be different uh, because file is corrupted, for example. If the file is corrupted, we can't open the file. Okay, that is one case. If file is already been utilized by some other resource, then also we can't open the file. So in that particular instances, this can we cannot open the file. Okay, then we are just simply, I am stating that cannot open the file. I can't state the reason for this, so just simply I am stating that I can't open the file. Else what will happen, we'll try to write into the file. How to write into the file? Very simple, just the followed by fwrite, file handle, and the content. So the content is whatever the content we entered into the second text box will be over here. Okay, and it will be written into the file now, and we are closing the file. It's very simple state of lines of codes. Okay, sir, if I don't want to check all these things, then how? Just simple 3 lines can be enough to create a file like fopen, fwrite, fclose. Okay, but definitely we need to check whether file already exists or not. That is the reason we are placing file exist here. Okay, we want to check whether any problem exists while opening the file or not. That is the reason this if condition is there. Okay, and so on. That to have a more readability and more accountability to our program, we are making so. Otherwise 3 lines of code can be enough to make a file, to write into a file. Okay, right. So probably now you got it. What is $_post is, $_get is, and $_request is. Okay, let us save this program. I'm just stopping this program and rerun this program, run without debugging. So actually try to see this, that my workspace, all the workspace is getting displayed now. But sir, I want only this specific file. That you have to go with the WAMP server and you have to open it and you have to do that. The same thing we are doing with the help of Visual Studio Code. I'll explain you. So create file.php. So let us see this first. Okay, and try to write again, write into file, submit. Entered file name is first. The file already exists with the same name because we are given br just now. See that we are given post method. That is the reason that here in the URL bar we can't able to see any content now. Okay, and it is simply displaying that by. Okay, now sir, file is already exists, then give a second file name. What is happening now? Second, whenever I enter second and I write that hello csc1, okay, and submit. Now enter file name is second and I am appending .txt to that. So that is the reason you can observe here that a second .txt is created and the content is hello csc1. Why it is coming over here? Because this is the path I opened it. Just simple, in the file explorer you can open a folder. Which folder I opened now? WAMP 64 www. Under that I opened samples folder. Okay, so that is the reason the content of this is samples now. Okay, so to cross verify, simple open a file explorer. This is a file explorer and I try to check that the second is now there. Second.txt file is created. This is a text document and the content of the file is hello csc1. Suppose sir, Again, if I give the same file name second, and I will write overwrite. Will it overwrite now? No. Why? Because we are just trying to check the condition that file already exists and it is exiting out of it. Sir, please make a place, means try to append it to the existing file. Then what I should do? I should have to go to my file, stop the execution, go to the file, create file.php. Then instead of opening the file in the write plus mode, just give it as an a plus mode. Okay. If file already exists, don't exit out of this. Okay. Just simple comment this with the two slashes. Two slashes is used to comment a single line. If you want to make a multi-line comment, then slash asterisk and asterisk slash, same like C programming. So this will try to comment out. Okay. So I'm simply saving this program. I just try to rerun this, run without debugging. So create file. So now I try to give second, which is create a second.php and overwrite content of second file, submit. So entered file name is second, and it is not prompting me that it is already exist. Why? Because I comment it out. Okay, so I'm not exiting out of that program. So let us see this, whether it will overwrite or not. Yes, overwrite content of the second file. Okay, so this, because I opened the file in the a plus mode, hence the reason that what is happening now. What is happening? Because die is trying to exit out of this. That is the reason the previous case these lines were not executing now. Okay, but in this case I made comment it out this, even though it's there, file exists, returning me true. It comes inside of a if condition, but nothing, no statements are there. It comes out of this, then it try to execute the remaining part of the program. Okay, so it is opening in the append plus mode, and the second file is getting overwritten. Okay, this is the extension of this txt file. Sir, suppose I want to make a dat file for this. Dat also represent a data file, which is also like a similar to text file. You can give either dat file or you can also give it like a text file. Okay, generally dat will be represented for an binary files, which represent a data file, but still it can also be used for a text file. But the better is we have to write a .txt for a text related files. Okay, right. So now this is a simple case that I shown you that how to read the data from a PHP file. Suppose, sir, I want to find a factorial of a given number and I have to store that inside a file. Then what I should do? Okay, it's very simple. I will write a function. Okay, factorial, which take a $n. Okay, and try to find dollar. We have to write a logic here. Okay, logic for factorial. You have to do this. Okay, you have to write an recursive function. Okay, to calculate the, here I am says whatever I am entering, I am just returning that. I just want to explain you that how you can able to find out the factorial of a given number. Okay, so here I am just trying to write another thing, enter a number, and I am trying to take this input. And the name of this is like an a fact. Okay, type equal to text. So this is a front end that we are writing a template where a user can enter an value. Okay, now how to get this value now? Simple, again the same thing. I have to check whether we have to check for all the things, like if dollar, how many inputs are there, those many inputs I need to check whether is set of dollar underscore post is set or not. I need to check like fact is set or not. If both are true, then it will come inside of this. Okay, now so I want to get this number now, dollar of fact, okay, equal to dollar underscore post of, what is the name of this? Name is fact. So I have to give this here fact. Suppose for example, if I give this FA, then it should be the name called as an FA, which will be the index of this. Okay, here. So I got the number now called as an fact. So I want to find out the factorial of this, then simply I can write it like an echo factorial of $FA is, I can try to call this method, which method? Just now I return factorial of dollar what? Fact. Not FA, this is not FA, this is fact. Why? Because this is a local variable here which we have created. FA is the name which is associated with the index of that form. Okay. So now this factorial will be passed to a function, and this function is trying to return as $n, which will be the factorial of that, and it will execute. Okay. So now I just save this, I just run this without debugging, and I'll go to the file called then create file.php. Now you can see that there is a number, like I give a number called then 5, which is to find the factorial. Okay, enter file name, like second this content of the file. Hello, this is the content, submit. Okay, so this is not FA, sorry, this is not fact. See this is failing the condition here. Why? Because f name is already set from here. Okay, but I rename this to instead of fact, I rename this to FA. So now I have to check whether FA is existing or not. Okay, so come to the file, save it, just rerun. This is a file, this is a second, and this is hello, this is the file content, submit. Okay, factorial of 5 is 5. Is factorial of 5 is 5? Can someone respond to me?
No, sir.
It is not 5. But why it is getting 5 then, sir?
Just we have written.
We have not written the logic here for finding the factorial. It's up to you. You have to write it and you have to find it out. Okay. So, sir, why we are not getting a new line? Why we are not getting a new line after this? Because here in this echo, I have not written, I have not concatenated that with a BR. Okay, so that is the reason that we are not getting that. Okay. So now, so this is 5. The file name is second, and the content is this. Submit. Factorial of 5 is 5. Enter file name is second. Okay. Sir, I want to store this factorial into a file. Then how? Can anyone tell me now what I have to do now? I want to store this statement inside a file. So instead of simply
of variable comma.
Yeah, simply of echoing, what I will do, I will write this as an some variable, some x, and equal to, I try to store everything inside of this. $x will be now storing this value. Now fwrite, simple, again I can write fwrite, any number of time you can write it into a file. $f, comma, what I have to write now, $x. Okay, now second.txt will be a huge content here. Why? Because this is we are continuously writing into that file. So I try to delete this now. I'm just saving it, deleting that, and I'm saving. Okay. Now I come back to this. Enter number 5. File name is second. Contented. Hello, this is the content of file. Submit. Okay. Now all these values will be saved into the file now. Hello, this is file content, and this is factorial of 5 is BR. So why it is getting BR slash, sir? Can anyone tell me why we are not getting a new line?
You might have given it in single quotes.
Actually, the thing is, this is a text file. So all the values will be represented as a text file only. This is not HTML. Okay, the extension is not HTML here. We are not creating HTML file to be get parsed, because that was a that BR was rendering to the front end, to the browser. Then browser is interpreting it as a new line. Okay, but here this is a text file. That is the reason we are getting something like this. Okay, try to find out that how to get a new line here inside of a file. Okay, right. So I hope now you got it, that what we are trying to do is, like, sir, I want to create a new file. Yes, created. Like, I want to find a reverse of a given number. Reverse dot php. Okay, now, so we try to create an html title. So sir, why you are doing all these things? Just give it as an not, and it will automatically create at these things. Okay, right. So the document, what we'll try to write the document is reverse using php. Okay, so inside of a body of this, we'll try to write a form method. Or what method we can use, it's our wish. Either we can use a get method or post method depending on the requirement. I want to give a number or I want to give a text, that I need to reverse it. Okay, so what I have to take this now, I have to make the user prompt called as an enter a number. Okay, so what I have to do, I have to take an input type equal to text, and what I should do, I have to give certain name for this. Okay, like num number. Okay, and definitely there should be an submit button. Until unless you have a submit button, the form will not get executed at the server end. So it should have definitely an type is submit button, and the value equal to find reverse. Okay, this is a very simple form. So I want to get a new line, then I can give a break. Okay, better is you can write it these things inside a table actually. Okay, you have to create a table and you have to do so. Okay, now question mark php will actually try to create a php file. Okay, now I want to get this number. So what I should do, first of all, I have to check whether is this set or not. Okay, so is set of, so dollar underscore, which method I have to use, post super global array. Why? Because the method I used is post here. Okay, and what is the variable name is num. Okay, because this is here I used it like a num. Okay, so now once it is, I have checking that with this whether it is set or not. Then if it is set, then it will come inside of this, then I can echo. Okay, entered number is, okay, dollar. So let us take that number inside one variable called as an n equal to dollar underscore post of. Now this will get me a number, but actually all these things will be in a string now. Okay, remember this. Okay, so dollar n, okay, it will print as the number. Okay, sir, now I want to find out reverse of it. So because as this is a string, okay, so you can use dollar. The methods which are there inside a string handling methods. Do Santosh sir told you?
Yes, sir.
What is that? strrev. Okay, so this strrev will try to take one dollar n, and it will try to do an reverse of that, echo strrev. Okay, so before of this I will just simple try to write reverse is, and I will print this. Okay, so here I want to get a new line, then I can give br slash. Okay, this is, we are not giving semicolon here, so that is the reason that this is an error. So try to understand that what is the basic things we are doing, the mistake is why it is giving us an error. Okay, so this is the advantage of your using Visual Studio Code. So I just told you that you can able to execute this. Okay, how we can able to execute? When we are creating a PHP file, it will ask you to add an extension, and it will go for an configuration file. Okay, in the run we have configuration files, open configuration. There you can able to observe that here you will have an URL. Okay, that URL will be mapping to the local host which is running on your machine. Okay, so in this case, in my case, my local host is this local host, and try to opening this folder called as samples. That is the reason on every run it is trying to go to this URL which is launching by default a Chrome against localhost, and this is a JSON file which is having a configuration. Okay, so just try to modify this thing. Okay, after the installation of WAMP. Okay, then everything will go in a smooth order. Okay, like this we can go with the run without debugging. It will execute this localhost, and the mandatory, the condition here is definitely it should have, definitely you should have a WAMP server running on your machine. Okay, then only this will come. Okay, so what was the program is reverse.php. Enter a number to reverse 1 2 3 4, something like this, find reverse. So this is making a string reverse actually, strrev. Okay, so sir, I want to take this as a number and I want to do this, then you have to go with an typecasting, which I will tell you how to do the typecasting. It's very simple that we can provide a type like what we did in a C language, so that you can able to write your own method of finding of a reverse of a number. Okay, so as this is accepting a string, this holds a string now, so that is the reason that we are just performing a string reverse upon this. I hope this is clear to everyone that how we can accept a values. Sir, if this is an post, if it is a get method, whether this will work, sir? Now no, this will not work. Okay, like for example like this, find reverse, nothing is happening. Why? Because the method you are written as get method, but you are trying to access the global super global array called as a post method. That is the reason it is not accepting. Sir, I don't know that if in a team I do have 15 members, someone is designing me the front end, and I am only responsible for creating of an PHP file, then how does it possible? I don't know whether he's used get method or post method. Then what I have to write? Whether I have to repeat this for twice? My code has to repeat for twice? No need of that. Simple, you can use a method called an request, which will be a super global array. Either it is a get method or post method, which will be handling all the variables. Okay, so this request can be used now. So this is actually storing us both the things. Okay, either it is a dollar get method or post method, it is storing that. Okay, so right, so let us analyze this. Let us remove this, refresh this. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5, find reverse. Now you can observe that this is actually a get method and we are trying here to access the values from a request. So just remember that there are three super global arrays called as get, dollar underscore get, dollar underscore post, and dollar underscore request. This is when we are using get method. This is when we are using post method. This is when we have to use request, when we are not aware that whether it is a get method or post method is being used in the template, then we have to go with a request super global array. I think this is clear to everyone. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. So now let us come back to our PPT. Okay, that this is, we are opening a file and we are checking whether file is opened perfectly or not. If it is not opened, then we are closing the file and so on. Okay, closing a file in all the programs, what I have shown to you is we have closed a file. So reading and writing to a file, so there are different methods which are available, like fread will reads a string of characters from a file. Okay, fwrite will write a characters into a file. F get C reads a single character at a time, okay, which will trying to read only a single character. EOF will try to check whether the file pointer is pointing to which location. If it is pointing to end of file or not, we are trying to check that. Okay. F get S reads a single line at a time. Remember all these things. Okay. Reads a line of comma separated value. So we can have a CSV values. So those CSV values can be read with a method called an fget CSV. Okay. File. So this is a very interesting method. These are like file and file get contents. Reads an entire file into an array. Okay. So it tries to read all the file content into an array now, and that array we can display that to display the content of a file. Okay. Now file underscore get contents gets an entire file into a string without needing to open it. See the difference here? It is reading into an array, it is reading into an string. Okay, so the practical is very simple. Okay, when you have Visual Studio, when you are trying to write something, then it automatically gives you the all documentation for this, like this. Okay, so file, it is trying to take a file name, and all the parameters are optional now. Reads entire file into an array. Okay, so here actually we are not opening a file here or anything, so that we can see inside here. Like if you want to read all the content of a file, then you can use a file and the string as a file name. Okay, so or you can give a resource, or you can also give a context. So uh, this this syntax we need to verify that how the syntax will look like. Once we know the syntax, then we can able to use that. Okay, that will complete it over here. Okay. File put contents. So all these methods are the way that without opening a file we can do it. Okay, like file put content and file get content. So no need of an f open, and directly we can able to do that. Okay, so display the content of an open file with a pass through. Read file the content of a file without needing to open it. Okay, we can read it directly from a file without opening a file. Okay. F6 will try to move into a file into a random location. Similarly, F10 will tell the position of the file pointer, where the file pointer is located. Okay, and the rewind will try to rewind the file. So it's very simple thing that you need to just remember, like how a file is like a simple like an array only. Okay, which will start writing the values in a byte wise manner. Like if I write a, which is I'm trying to write inside of a file. So a is, suppose a is having 1 byte. So 1 byte of memory is allocated here as a sequential 1 byte. Okay. If I write b, okay, the second byte will be written over here. Okay. If I write c, the third byte will be written over here, and the file pointer fp will be pointing to the first byte. Okay, now you want to move the file pointer to some location, for example, so I can use fseek. Okay, means seek the file to some location. Suppose if I want to seek the location to the 30th byte, okay, then I can give a 30 over here. Okay, means it will seek the file location. So this fseek will generally take an file pointer comma the offset address where you want to move into a file. Okay, so similarly you can move forward, you can move in a reverse order like rewind. Okay, so this is we generally refer to as an random access files. Okay, right. So right here we'll see reading and writing of a characters now. So what is this? Fread dollar handle and 10 is nothing but it tries to read the 10 bytes from a file. Okay, so here the 10 bytes are nothing but the 10 sequential numbers, or it might be an characters. So generally this 10 refer to a number of characters now. So it tries to read the first 10 characters. Let us try to do this here in the opened file now. Fread of the file name is $f comma I can specify a number, the length. Okay, let us save this. So as a given a plus, so it has capabilities of both reading and writing at a time. So hence I can perform a f read on this. Okay, so let us save this, let us run the file. This is like 5. Second file content is submit. So see this is actually trying to return a value inside of a variable, but I'm directly echoing this, so it should actually work, that this number of bytes that has been read from an uh, $f need to be written, or else we can save this into an variable called as some y. Okay, and we can echo this $y. Okay, save this, rerun the program. Yeah, wait, we need to run this again, run without debugging. Okay, so create a file, 5 second, yeah, so a plus if there is an exception, it could have been thrown an exception. A plus mode will actually do both the things, reading and writing. So I will get back to this. Okay, but generally we can read like this. Okay, we'll write a simple program for this. So we'll try to copy this content. Okay, so create a new file. This can be a read file .php. Read file already exists, so I'll go with readf.php. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just make a PHP file without any content. PHP, and here I need to close this question mark and the end of this. Okay, right, so no need of ESET, no need of these things, no need of all these things. Okay, so I just directly want to make a text file. I want to read from a text file whose name is second.txt. Okay, I check whether the file exists or not, and I want to open this in an read mode. Okay, and no need of writing into the file, no need of this, just closing this file. So no if here, so that's the reason here. So we are just trying to see that the $f do exist or not. If it does not exist, then we'll exit out of this. Okay, and if do exist, then I am opening the file in a read mode. Okay, and we are trying to read the first 10 characters out of this, and we are displaying. Okay, so let us see the second.txt to have some data. Yeah, it to have some data. So now run this file, save this file, run. Already it is running, we have to stop it, run without debugging. So what is the file name is readf, so readf.php. Okay, file already exists with the same name by so it should not has to die, because the file is already there. I know that's the reason it's coming out of this. Okay, so just refresh and check this. No need of again displaying this file exist or file exist or not. Okay, so if file does not exist, we have to display that. Okay, so hello this, why you are getting this hello this, how many characters are there? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So this is the 10 characters which have been read from the file. Okay, so that is the syntax here. Sir, I don't want to do all these things. Remove, no need to worry. file is there, if you know that file is there, then no need to check all these things. Just a simple file name followed by opening mode, fread, which will return you some number of characters. Okay, if you want to read 20 characters, give it as a 20. Okay, length of that. Then $echo of $y will print the content of it, and this will be like this. Suppose if I write echo here, refresh this, see this, hello, this is file content. Actually this is 20 characters, that is the reason it's ended. If I give 30, save this, hit enter, so it is reading about a 30 characters from the beginning of the file pointer. Okay, so this is all about reading of a file, and similarly you can perform all the methods which are there here. Okay, so fgetc, what it will do now, so instead of this I'll try to write f get c and the resource handler without a number. So we try to read only a single character from a file. Just refresh this. Single character is hello. Okay, sir, I want to read all the content of a file. Then simple loop this file $f. $f will be actually trying to return us have to check this with while $f, while not of. Okay, so there was in one method, okay, which is to check file end of file. Okay, so what is that FEOF is? To check whether a file test of or end of a file of a pointer. Okay, while $f, and I have to do this while not of EOF. So you see this, that why it is getting these many number of times. Why it is getting these many number of times? Because let us see what is actually the content of our second file is. Second of file is these actually. This is 5 times only. I will remove this. So only for the first time. So now rerun this. That is the reason that it is trying to print all the content. So it's very simple logic here, that if you know the methods or functions which are available, then easily you can able to write. Because I am trying to read a single character at a time. Now I want to read all the characters till I reach the end of file. Means till I reach the end of file. If not of end of file, it will repeat it. It will repeat and it will try to take individual character, and individual character is printing on the display. So it is making me a simple logic that reading all the content of a file. Okay, so probably you understood this, that how the getc can be used, okay, to get a single character. Okay, fopen to write a file, fwrite file handle and followed by a text. Okay, this we have seen already. So this is a optional 4. Okay, what is this 4 is? What is this 4, sir? This 4 is nothing but it will try to tell us that write only 4 characters out of this. What are the 4 characters here? ABCD. So it will omit the remaining thing. This will not write into the file. Okay, so we can tell the size of a number of characters that can be written into a file. Okay. Now this is a very interesting program called as a hit counter. So we try to create a file called as an count.dat, and we'll try to see that whether this count.dat exists or not. If it is does not exist, we'll try to create it initially, and the initial value of that will be 0. Okay, so this loop will be, sorry, these conditions will be for trying to check whether file is there or not. If file is not there, and it will create a file. Okay, this is the very first time, and the counter value will be 0. Okay, this is a 0 is the counter value initially inside of a file. Okay, now next it goes on, and if it is not try to open the file in a writing read mode, then it will exit out of this, and if it opens successfully the file in a reading mode, then it try to read the file. Now see this is an operation called as an, what this operation is, what it will do, it try to convert the string, into what? Can anyone tell me? This you have seen in C programming. What this is? This is called typecasting. Okay, converting from one type to another type. This actually try to return as a string, but this string we are trying to convert that into integer. Why? Because I want to perform a counter plus plus for incrementing the value. So I'll read the value from this and I'll hold that into a dollar counter. Okay, and I'm trying to increment this counter plus plus. See this here in this line, it's incrementing the counter, and we'll try to write that incremented counter again back to the opened file. Okay, so we are trying to open the file again into the writing mode. Okay, and we are trying to override the value called as a counter. Okay, so what this W will do, W will check whether file exists or not. If file exists, it will delete the content, it will write the content again. Okay, so 0 was already there, now it incremented plus plus, so it become 1, so the 1 will be written onto that. Okay, for the next time again you visit, so file is already there, then it try to increment the counter and it tries to write it into the file. Okay, this program already I have written hit counter with the same logic. Okay, trying to open the file initially to have an initial value called as 0, then try to read the file. Once I read the file, I try to typecast this for a integer number, and I try to perform the incrementing operator on that. This 20 is nothing but it try to try to read up to 20 bytes of data inside of that. Okay, so 20 bytes is more than enough to store some value. So this incrementing counter will be incrementing that value, and the incremented value will be written into the file back again. Okay, so try to run this program now inside of a samples. Hit counter. Okay, so already I executed this for 15 times. So if I hit enter, this is 16 time, 17, 18, 19 and so on. The major drawback of this is, if someone want to increase their popularity of their web page, simply they can go to this uh, which file, what is the file name is counter.dat. Okay, so here you see that there will be a creating a counter.dat file. Yeah, this is counter.dat, and see the value is 19. Suppose if I give 1900, and now this shows that the popularity of the web pages. Okay, 1901, because the already the counter is from 1900. So that is the reason it is incrementing. Okay, suppose if someone want their web page to be more popular, then they can manually manipulate those particular values. This is a kind of hacking that people do earlier in the likes, comments, okay, in the sections in most of the social media. That vulnerable attack was there, but most of the social media websites now they removed that. Okay, but still some bugs are there that can able to handle such type of things. Okay, so this is a very poor method, that if you are written this, that can be a problem, because if someone know your file name, that simply they can able to uh, go with your file. Okay, what is the file name is? The file name is counter.dat. Okay, so I will try to check whether counter.dat is there here or not. Then I can immediately able to know that yes, this website is using some way to create and to hold and counter inside of this text file. Okay, I try to access this text file now. I will modify the content now, then automatically the popularity will can be changed. Okay, so this is a in-depth concept about how people will do the things, manipulate. Okay, but in the front visit, like you can store this variable somewhere else here. Okay, somewhere in the bottom of your web page, stating that stating what this is an hit counter. Okay, right. Testing of the end of a file. So just now I told you that to check whether how you can able to test the end of file, it has been reached to end of file or not. Okay, so it returns either a true or false value. Okay, wait.